Hello everyone and welcome back to another amazing episode on my YouTube channel featuring the HIV cure series. As usual, we are going to be highlighting another professor and scientist and researcher who works in the sidelines of getting us a HIV cure. We speak about a HIV cure not because it exists, but because I want you to know the work that is currently happening and for you to be aware, because I believe in this lifetime we're getting a HIV cure, you are aware that there was work being done. So it's not coming out of nowhere, but it is currently being worked on. So please stay tuned, watch throughout the video. Please don't forget to leave a like, a share, subscribe, and please leave a comment, a question, or a concern. I will definitely forward them to Katie, and she is going to answer your questions, or I can, well, where I could I can. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video for today, and I hope to see you again next week, same time, same place, new video.
My name is Katie Barr. I work at the University of Pennsylvania. I am an HIV and infectious disease provider and researcher. I also work within the clinical trials group here in the US called the ACTG, which stands for Advancing Clinical Therapeutics Globally. And for that organization, I lead our CURE group, helping to design clinical trials for cure. In 2026, I think we have learned a lot about what are the challenges and what are the barriers to HIV cure. We understand how the long-lived reservoir needs to be approached, and we understand a little bit about how the immune system tries to clear the virus. And so most of our cure strategies aim to chip away at that reservoir and boost our immune responses. And I think we're making good progress understanding those things. But what I think we need to do is continue more energy, more efforts in actually doing small clinical trials to test those strategies in people around the world as quickly as possible, so that we can learn what actually works in real people. I think that's a really important question. How do we, as researchers, as clinical trialists, as basic scientists, work with community to speak to the population at large? And I think that relationship between our community educators, our community advocates, is so essential, because these are the key people who take the good, clear, true messages about the science, the pluses and the minuses, and they convey it back and forth. And so we just need, for sure, continued dialogue. I think that it's not enough just to do that when we have a new clinical trial coming, or when we think there's an exciting new intervention. That conversation needs to go back and forth all the time. And we need to be constantly reassessing, what do people in the community really want from a cure? What do they think about the science that they're hearing in the news, in the media? And then that constant back and forth helps keep everybody in the same sort of headspace about what is real, what is happening. And then there's no misconceptions from the side of researchers thinking, oh, this is what I think the community wants. This is what I think these communities, different communities want. And then from the side of the community, not thinking that we've advanced farther than we have, or not thinking that there's no promise in the cure. And so that constant conversation when there's new information, whether it's a trial seems like it's got a fun result, a good result, or whether it seems like there's a new thing we've learned that may make it more challenging, that back and forth needs to happen as much as possible in as many formats as possible. It is so clear that we have not had equity and equal access for our new medicines, for our prevention strategies. That is very clear. And there's constant discussion from the community advocating for that. And there are efforts from governments, from private payers, from companies to make that better. But clearly, we have a long way to go with our medicines and our prevention strategies. And that's probably the most important thing, is we make sure everyone has access to those standard of care, essential prevention and treatment methods. For the cure, as we develop new cures, it's essential that we test these in diverse communities around the world. And we have learned that some of our interventions work differently in different populations. For example, we know some of our interventions do differently in men versus women. And so we must make sure that we include both men and women in our studies. And the acceptability of some cures may be different in different regions around the world. And so we have to make sure we're having those discussions and we're having those trials globally. In the ACTG right now, we have a couple studies in Southern Africa that are very similar or exactly the same as ones that we have in the United States. And I think that is just one step in the right direction. But this allows us to understand if similar interventions in very different populations will act in the same way. And it's essential for us to develop that sort of approach for the whole world, is to test it, not just in Southern Africa and the US, but also in Latin America and Asia and around the world. But at least it's a start that we're looking in a couple different places around the world to make sure these things are acceptable and effective in many populations. Some people think we're never going to get a cure, and some people think we already have it, but it's kind of being hidden. And I think that the truth is really in the middle, and that everything is always more complicated than we'd like, but we are making real progress in understanding the cure and developing strategies that we think are safe and move us in the right direction. But we don't have a widely available cure yet, even though we do have some strategies that show promise. So it's complicated to discuss a sort of nuanced or not 100% yes or no, but kind of a maybe answer. But that's really where we are right now, and it's difficult. We need super skilled community educators to be able to discuss that. But that sort of middle ground is where we are, and it's very easy to be like, there's nothing, or we have it, and it's in the middle. In my mind, there's two perfect worlds for a possible cure. One is a safe immunotherapy that might involve a few doses of an intervention over a longer period of time that slowly boosts immunity and slowly chips away at the reservoir, so that people can have ART-free virus control. So they won't need medicines, and their own body will control the virus. And then I think the other perfect world is more of a gene therapy approach, where we could deliver sort of one shot or two shots, and that would do something to the virus and the immune system in a shorter order and allow people to move forward without antiretroviral virus-free control at that point in time. I think a message of hope is exactly what we need. We are learning really important things, and we are making progress. And I think with continued partnership, we will continue to get closer and closer and closer until we have a cure. But we need that continued engagement, like both from the researchers being good communicators and from excellent community activists and advocates and educators going back and forth between big community populations and the researchers. And with that, I think we're moving in the right direction.